Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 117. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Christian Rodwell, the founder of Escape to the Rat Race, personal development and business mentor, helping you discover your personal path to freedom. Christian's mission is simply to help inspire those looking to make the transition from employee to entrepreneur and to provide them with the support and the tools to shortcut their journey to a life with more freedom. Welcome, Christian.
Good morning, Patience. Thank you for having me on your show today.
Thank you for coming. I know the clan here is anxious to hear a story, so let's start with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, what you did before you started your own online business? Take us right up to the last job or business before you are online.
Absolutely. Well, my background, Patience, is actually in the dance music industry. So when I was at college, I was getting tired of just sitting in a classroom and studying subjects which I had no real interest in. And at the age of, I guess, 18 years old, my real passion at that time was dance music, DJing, going to clubs in London and dancing. And so instead of deciding to go to university and spend another 3 or 4 years studying something that I wasn't really that interested in and actually just, building up a big debt, I thought I would try and find a foot in the door into the music industry, and it wasn't easy, and it took a bit of hard work, but I wrote letters to all of the record labels that I was purchasing vinyl 12-inch records from, and I got a lucky break, and I got some work experience at EMI Records in London, at the biggest dance music label in the world, really, actually, called Positiva Records. And yeah, I just spent some afternoons when I had some free time from college, and I went up there and helped them out, and then that led to getting a full-time position, and that led then to actually working for 16 years, managing record labels and having lots of success. I had some #1 records with some of the artists I worked with, and worked with all of the top DJs and clubs in the world, really. So that was my background, and it got to probably about 2014, and I was starting to lose my passion. I wasn't enjoying just turning up to the office every day, and whilst from the outside it looked like to my friends that I had a really, really great job, and don't get me wrong, there were lots of perks, at the end of the day I was still having to be at work by a certain time. I was still getting paid the same amount of money every month, and I still had a boss that obviously I had to answer to, and I didn't feel like I had my freedom. I didn't feel like I was doing really what I really wanted to do inside any longer. And so I was at that crossroads, and I had to decide, okay, well, I've only done this job for like my entire life, and if I'm going to change and move to a different industry, what am I going to do? And that's where I kind of went on this journey, I suppose, of self-discovery, and starting to go to seminars and courses in London and attend different events and network, and really try and get a good idea as to what other opportunities were out there. And that really just opened a can of worms. And yeah, I realized that there were so many opportunities out there. It's actually quite overwhelming for people. And yeah, I decided that I was going to go into property, and so I left the music industry and yeah, embarked on building a property business, and I'll pause there, I think.
Wow, what a journey.
Yeah.
Well then, from music to property, then from property, now you are an entrepreneur. Wow. Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? Well, there's always been like this burning kind of desire inside of me to kind of be the best version of me that I can be. So, again, rewinding back quite a few years, actually, I've been studying personal development since 2004. So I actually took a brief year and a half out of the music industry to do some traveling in Australia and Asia. And when I came back, one of my best friends put a CD into his car one day, and it was a CD by a gentleman named Jim Rohn. Now, Jim Rohn is was one of America's foremost sort of business philosophers. He's passed away now, unfortunately, but that was the light bulb for me, which really triggered, now a lifelong, passion for learning about being your best self. The fundamentals in life, good habits and good basic principles for success. And so I've always been driven by those principles, set out by Jim Rohn. And now there's so many other personal development people out there with, the internet and social media has made it so much easier for people to share their own message. So I guess that's what drives me. I just really want to be the best I can be, and I really want to share all of that knowledge with other people who are maybe just discovering or have been on the same journey as I have and still haven't quite got to where they want to get to. And I believe that, if we pull each other along, then we can get to the other side of that bridge a little bit quicker.
Welcome to the journey. So, okay, what is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
Yeah, I guess, and I think I've heard other guests on your show mention the same thing, about this whole get rich quick, believing that you can just go from zero to hero overnight. And don't get me wrong, it happens, especially now with the internet. There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of people who do make a lot of money very quickly. But I don't think that's typical, and I don't think anyone should go into this expecting that to happen. If it does, that's a bonus. But in my experience, having now worked with hundreds of my own members and built a community to over 2,000 people now since I set up Escape the Rat Race. I've spoken to all of these people, and I've seen the real life journey that people go through, and it's a lot of hard work. There can be a real lot of frustration, a lot of soul searching, some real highs and lows along the way. And unfortunately, many people give up. And that's sad. And that's really, again, my mission is to really help pulling these people along, because I know that it can be really tough sometimes, especially when you've got a full-time job and you're also trying to do something in the evenings and at weekends. And, maybe you try something for a while and you don't see any results, and it can be real tough. So that's why it's so important to have the right network around you. And I believe it's really good to find the right mentor, someone that you are accountable to, someone that that you have to push yourself, because you've got to report back to your mentor, every week or every month.
What do you think most of people give up quickly?
I think because it requires, success requires you to really stretch yourself, and many things, not just that, but stepping outside your comfort zone, doing things you're not comfortable with, failing and getting used to that feeling of not getting something to work, and then getting back up again and doing it again but slightly differently. Periods maybe where you are putting in so much work but you're not earning any money. Not being clear. And I think not having certainty is a big one. When you're just not really certain if what you're doing is the right path, if you're not really certain that you've got your USP right, or your product or the service that you're trying to deliver to other people, that uncertainty can really throw people. And I think they just think, okay, well, I'll just slip it back into what I know because that's comfortable. And even though it's not really what they want, it's just a safe, comfortable place where unfortunately some people just slip back into.
When should we expect success, Christian? Should we wait there for 1 year, 6 months, or 3 months? So how long?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's no right answer to that. I think it's directly proportional to the amount of effort that you put in, but actually I don't think that is correct, because I think you can put in a lot of effort and still not see success. And you might look at someone else who, you've been going for 5 years and still haven't seen success. And then someone else, reads a book, implements it, and within 12 months, they're making, 6 figures. So I don't think it's about the hard work. People talk about working hard and working smart. I think there's many factors, but to answer your question, how long can you expect to see success? I would say, if I were to give a number, I'd say give it 5 years. I'd say give it 5 years, but be committed and be consistent for those 5 years. I think if you're consistent with your efforts and you're just at least moving forwards, you're probably going to go in some zigzags. You're going to try some things that don't work, then you're going to take a few steps back, then maybe you're not going to do anything for a few months, then you're going to try something else. I definitely shortcut people with that process now. That's, I learned from my mistakes, and now I work with my mentees and members of Escape the Rat Race because, I can really help, shortcut that for them. But I would still say to someone, give it 3 to 5 years, I think. And if you've got a mentor, you've got a good support network around you, I think you would be pretty happy with your progress after that period of time. Yeah.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful?
Well, again, it's often said that, really, if you're happy and you're truly happy, then that is leading a successful life. I think if you wake up every day and you're just grateful, for opening your eyes to another day, and you have freedom, I think that's probably the one word. In fact, not probably, it is the one word that I get back most commonly from my members of Escape the Rat Race is, what does Escape the Rat Race mean to you? And the answer I get back is freedom. And freedom, I've figured out, comes in kind of 5 different areas, and that can be financial freedom, it can be time freedom, so just choosing how you spend your day, location freedom. A lot of people just want to be able to travel the world and still be able to generate an income. Relationship freedom, so who you spend your time with, not having to leave your house 7 o'clock in the morning and come home 7 o'clock at night and just have like an hour with your family before you have to go to work again. So that relationship freedom, and then also just freedom of choice, just waking up every morning and saying, I'm the boss of me, like no one else is telling me what to do today. I have the choice to spend the day as I choose. And I think that's really fundamental in most people's life, that if they have those freedoms, or at least one or two, they feel like they've achieved a level of success.
Okay. Do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur? Anyone can live really a 9-to-5 job?
Another great question. And I don't think everybody can. As much as I really fly the flag for, sack your boss, escape the rat race, I fly that flag for the people who are really committed to doing that. Some people, in fact, lots of people I've seen come along to my events over the last 2.5 years, and they like the idea of financial freedom. They like the idea of being their own boss, but they're actually not prepared to do what it takes to achieve that. And so therefore, no, I don't believe everyone is cut out for it. And interestingly, I had a conversation with someone last week, and they said, actually a lot of people don't really want to start a business. What people want is to generate an income. So I think we can get that message mixed up. And I think I've actually sometimes, had an oversight there with, in order to escape the rat race, you need to build a business. Well, it's a great way to obviously escape the rat race is to have your own business, and especially if you're in control, create cash flow, and you don't just create another job for yourself. So you're not just self-employed, but you actually have a business that operates when you're not there, where you can have that freedom to travel and money still comes in, and you've got systems, and maybe you've got people in the business to help with that. But actually a lot of people don't want to have a business. They just want to generate an income. So, if you could just show them a way where they can have, £2,000 a month, let's say, coming in, then, that's all they want. They don't actually want the responsibility of having a business. So I think that's an interesting, definition there for people to think about for themselves.
Okay. What reassurance and encouragement you have got for my members of Clan who are not quite there yet, but they want to start the online business, or they want to start any kind of business, but they are still thinking, should I not? What is your advice to them?
Yeah, I think you've definitely got to try. If you don't try, you're just going to have the regret of what if. And that's a terrible place to be. Time moves so quickly. In fact, I was just thinking about this yesterday to myself. The journey can be a long road. I said earlier that I first got switched on to personal development in 2004. Well, we're recording this now in 2017. And, I lost my way for 8 years, shall we say, because I just got back into a job and wasn't pursuing necessarily, my own business or my urge to be my best self. I was getting paid, I was enjoying my job at that time, and 8 years just disappeared. So things can get in the way, life gets in the way, and that's okay. But I think for those listening now, if you do have an idea, just put 110% into it, but learn from people who have already done what it is you want to do. There's many people out there, many people now, who create courses, who record podcasts, who put free videos on YouTube, maybe do free guides, free workshops. It's quick and easy to find those people. Now you have to be slightly careful and use your judgment and do a little bit of research into, are these people actually genuine? How long have they been doing it? What are other people's opinions and feedback of these people? What are the results that other people are getting that have maybe signed up or bought the course? So do some research first, and just make sure that that you don't dig up any skeletons, and that the feedback is good. But then invest some money and invest some of your time and go out and just put as much time and energy as you can into it. And the more you put into it, the quicker the results will come.
Do you think this is a time for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur to do it?
Absolutely. There's never been a better time. There's a real entrepreneur movement happening right now. Co-working is just booming across the world now. You can set up, you don't need an office anymore. All of the costs that used to come with business, have just completely reduced now. You don't need, distribution companies. You can do that online yourself. Marketing, branding, you can do that, or find very, very low cost freelancers now on sites such as Upwork or Fiverr. It's just never, ever been a better time.
Wow. You said you have a mentor, and also you do your events and your meetups once a month. What is the most valuable thing your mentor has told you?
I've had many mentors, actually, Patience. I currently, my mentor is Roger Hamilton. He's the founder of the Entrepreneurs Institute, creator of Wealth Dynamics. And sometimes it's just one thing in a conversation. Sometimes that's all it takes. For example, I was talking to Roger. Roger, actually, I'll share this with everyone listening. I think this would be useful. Roger talks about having 3 brands when you're setting up a business. You want your personal brand, which is, yourself. People need to know who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what your mission is, what your purpose, why you're doing what you do, and just a little bit about you. They want to know what kind of stuff you enjoy, what are the fun things outside of business that you do. So that's your personal brand. Then he says, you need to have your company brand. And, for me, that's Escape the Rat Race. And, there needs to be a place in the marketplace. So you need to have an identity. People know what your company is about, and people need to understand what value your company delivers, what the unique proposition is that your company delivers. And then the third thing that really creates the triangle is your product brand. And for me, I wasn't entirely sure that I had got a clear product offering with Escape the Rat Race. I had my meetups, as you said, and I was doing mentoring, helping people to start businesses and helping people to start property businesses. But there wasn't a clear product that, if people said, okay, well, I know Chris and I know Escape the Rat Race, but how do I escape the rat race? What's the process? What's the product that I can buy, that I can, join, and that's going to actually show me how to get out of the rat race. And so, just that conversation with my mentor, Roger said, well, Escape the Rat Race is a moving away from thing. People want to get it out of the rat race. They're moving away from that. But where are they moving towards? And I said, well, freedom. Everyone wants more freedom in their life. That's the feedback I always get. And he said, okay, well, you definitely need to have freedom in the name of what your product is. And so I thought about that, and then that led to me then creating the 5-step freedom formula, which is now my real signature program that I take my members through, which is a 5-week online program. And the 5-step freedom formula is based upon my own journey, my own success journey, and seeing everything that's worked for myself and all of my members as well. And what I realized was that there's just a handful of things that make 80% of the difference. And it's those 5 steps that are the fundamentals, the real foundation, that without those in place, I think it's going to be really hard and a long, hard journey to get to the success point that you want to get to. And so many people are trying to build this business on a really shaky foundation, or even no foundation, because they just didn't realize that they need to put these fundamental aspects in place first.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
My time, I think. Time just slips away. Like, every second is just gone. We're never going to get it back. So, I think your time is super precious, and that's why I'm so passionate about people who are turning up to a job every day that they don't enjoy. They're literally looking at the clock from the moment they get in the office and just, waiting for lunch time. And as soon as they're back from their lunch break, they're just waiting for end of day, and they're just hating everything that they're doing, and getting frustrated, and there were points where I was doing that myself, and I just think, it's such a waste of your life, but when you're stuck in that environment, it can be really hard to break out. You feel like you're in this bubble, you're part of a team, you kind of got some friends at work, and you feel trapped sometimes. And I know so many of my members do, and unfortunately years can fly by and you don't do anything about it, and you've lost that time. And when you finally do break free, that is when you realize, oh my God, why did I not do that like ages ago? You just have, it's like the shackles are off, you just can go out and really do what you want to do. And then you start a new journey and a new process. But, I think, when you're starting a business, you necessarily don't have money coming in, but what you do have is time. So, you trade some of that time to help other people, and hopefully then they see the value that you provide, and then they help you back. And then that's what grows your business. So, yeah, I'd say the most valuable thing I've given away is my time.
Okay, let's talk more about the 5 steps freedom formula. So what clients can apply here?
Yeah, so, the 5 steps, if I just quickly take you through what those 5 steps are, patience, is, begins with foundation. And this is really where you get clear on where are you right now in your life. Like if you're not happy, then get really clear about the reason why you're not happy. And if you're not happy, it means that you don't have something that you want. So get really super clear about what it is that you want, that you think is going to make you happy. And sometimes people think, having more money is going to make them happy. And yeah, maybe it is, but maybe it isn't. But, you need that support. You need a mentor. You need people around you who are going through that same journey. And this is when the magic happens, when you have these conversations and you're asked the right questions at the right time, is when you start having these light bulb moments and things start really slotting into place for you. And you know what you're supposed to be doing, or what you've been doing wrong all this time. So step 1 is foundation, where we look at your values, what do you stand for, and then really looking at how big that gap is from where you are now to where you want to be. And we've got lots of processes that we go through in that first session. Then week 2 is flow. So you're going to see a theme here. All the words begin with the letter F. So step 1, foundation. Step 2 is flow. This is where everyone who joins me on this program receives a free token to take the Wealth Dynamics test. And the Wealth Dynamics test is an entrepreneur profiling test, which will tell you which of the 8 entrepreneur profiles that you are. And we're all one of the 8. And they all have very different ways to creating wealth and to getting into flow. So just very briefly, there's some people in the world who are very creative. They're always coming up with ideas. They have 100 ideas before lunchtime, but they never ever finish any of them off. And then we have other people who are not necessarily the ones that come up with the great idea, but they're really good at taking that idea from the other person and then going out and finding the best people and building the best teams to make that idea come to life. So they love networking. They're quite extrovert. They're really good brand ambassadors. Then in the team, if you think about, we're moving kind of around a circle, once you've got the team, you've got the great idea, then you need people to execute. And so these are people who are really good at service. They're really good at timing. They know when to launch products. They, if things are moving too fast or too slow, they're the people who really have their ear to the ground and are really, great at making sure that everyone is on purpose and on time with what's happening in the business. And then once, you've launched the product, then you have the people who are really good at the details, the numbers. They're the people who are looking at the accounts, the profit and loss, the spreadsheets. They love analyzing and optimizing. And so they're going to look at the existing business, how it's operating so far, and say, okay, let's do things a bit differently. we can cut back here, and we can spend a bit more in this area, and that is how you build the dream team. So that's week 2, a really, really good, insightful session where everyone who's on the program and in that group understands themselves, what they are great at, what they should be focusing on, and also where the gaps are, where they need to find other people to help them do the things that they don't love. We each have a genius within us, and there's other people who love doing the things that we don't, and so we need to really identify and understand that, and that's really where we can then start making really good, quick progress. So week 3, then we move into finances, and this is where we help everyone understand their personal financial statement. You understand where the money's coming in, where it's going out, if you've got any leaks in the bucket, which we need to plug those gaps. And then we look at the 5 assets, and so I bring in one of my expert mentors who has 20 years experience of working with people to help them achieve financial independence, and we educate everyone on the call of what the 5 assets are, and sometimes we've had some amazing breakthrough moments where people have realized that they're sitting on assets where if they just did things slightly differently, that actually their escape the rat race day is months away rather than years away, and they just had no idea. So that's an amazing session. And then week 4, we go into fear. Now, fear is such a big thing that holds many of us back. We have the little voice in our head where we just talk to ourselves and say, oh, you can't do that, or you don't deserve that, or you'll never be good enough. And this really holds us back. And so I bring in another expert mentor on week 4, and we spend, a good amount of time really going through and understanding each person. What is it that's holding you back? What are your biggest fears? And then we just smash those fears down, because, it's often said that fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And it really is. It's just something we're telling ourselves, which is just a story. And, when you understand how to decode that, then it just opens up, the gates in front of you, and really makes you unstoppable. And then we round things off on week 5, and this is all online, so it can be done from anywhere in the world. We come together online in a small group, and week 5 is where we look at everything that we've discussed in the previous 4 weeks, and then we start eliminating all of the things that you shouldn't be spending your time doing. So you may have been thinking, oh, okay, I'm interested in property, or I'm interested in the stock market, I'm interested in e-commerce, Amazon, eBay. You've got all these ideas which you were thinking about, or maybe you were trying lots of different things at the same time. And now on week 5 we say, right, that's probably not the best thing for you to be focusing on. Now, you should be focusing your energy and time on this, because it's going to give you the most chance of success based upon, your values, based upon your goals, based upon your skills and your strengths, and your finance and your time. So we look at all of that, and we've come to a really conclusive decision together as to, okay, what is the right direction that you need to be focusing on right now in order to get you to where you want to get to as quickly as possible.
Okay, right. Where can we find this fabulous program?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Probably the quickest and easiest place is just to go to the Escape the Rat Race website, and the address for that is www.etrr.online. And you'll see on the homepage there'll be a button for the 5-step freedom formula, and you can just check out some more information there. And I run quite a few webinars as well, so maybe you can jump on a free webinar, and I can teach you a little bit more about some of those steps. And if you want to join on the program, we're actually launching on the 2nd of November 2017, so only 3 weeks away. I'm not sure when this podcast will be going live, but if you're listening now and it's before the 2nd of November and we still have spaces left, then obviously I'd love to have you on, because it would be a great way to end the year, and it would put you in such a massively strong position for 2018.
Well, if you are listening even after 2017, not to worry, Chris will be still here and ready to help you, isn't it, Chris? Okay, where else can we find you if we want just to email you, contact you? Can we find you anywhere in the social media?
Yeah. Well, I'd love for everyone listening right now to, to invite you to be part of our private Escape the Rat Race Facebook group. I've been running that for nearly 3 years now. We've got 1,000 members there, and some really good conversations every day with people who are, working on business ideas, sharing these challenges with one another. It's a really close community, and you can join that group either by searching for Escape the Rat Race, #ETRR in Facebook, or you can just type in etrr.online/ Facebook.
Wow. Thank you. Before we go and start looking up for you, what keeps you grounded?
I guess my girlfriend does. Have to not get above my stations. I talked about wealth dynamics very briefly there as step 2. But wealth dynamics, when I took that test, it came up with my profile as being the tempo energy. Now there's 4 energies. Tempo is the earth energy. It's the autumn season. Wood, the earth element, and so naturally, and I'm a Libran as well. So quite balanced and ear to the ground and sensory. That is my natural characteristic. So I feel that staying grounded is something that is my personality is kind of like that anyway.
Thank you. So, clan, there will be more from Christian in a moment. If you are finding Christian's journey interesting and you are ready to hear more, come and listen to the full version of the interview at onlinesuccessjourney.com. If you're on Online Success Journey already, click on part 2 Christian's journey and you'll get lots more tips to help you run from the job you hate and to the new one, and it will help you with all other tips you need to start the online business. Don't forget to access all other Online Success interview podcasts on the site as well. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Christian.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.